Hello, welcome to the third webinar of the FY23 round of the Community One Stop for Growth. On behalf of the Baker-Polito administration and Housing and Economic Development Secretary Mike Keneally, we want to thank you for your interest in supporting and advancing economic growth throughout the state. My name is Pat Shannon, and I serve as the Community One Stop Coordinator at the Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development. With me today is Nick Gielens, a Program Administrator and the RMAT Climate Change Coordinator for EOHED, and Phoebe Zamberlini, Community Grants Coordinator at the Department of Housing and Community Development. The purpose of today's webinar is to guide you through the technology aspects of the One Stop. We'll walk through how to use the online application platform from registering a new organization to creating and submitting your expression of interest and full applications. The best way to access the application platform for first-time users is through the One Stop website. When you go to mass.gov/onestop, you should navigate to either the expression of interest or full application sections of the web page. Here you'll see links to submit an expression of interest and to submit a full application. Either one of these links will take you to the IGX platform. You'll also have the opportunity to download the FY23 One Stop NOFA, as well as templates of the expression of interest and full application forms. We offer this for any of our applicants that would like to complete a draft before entering their information into the IGX platform for their official submission. So we'll click the link to go to the IGX platform. You can also access the IGX platform directly through your browser by entering eohed.intelligrants.com. We recommend that you bookmark this page for easier access in the future. If your organization is new to the One Stop, your first step will be to register the organization. You can do this by selecting the new organization register here link, which will prompt the registration form to appear. This is where you'll enter the information for both your organization and your own personal account, including your username and password. I would like to note that this form asks for SAMs and DUNS numbers. However, these fields are not required as they're not relevant to the majority of our applicants. We do require that you enter your organization's FEIN number, however. Once you complete the form, click register, and your account will go to the One Stop team to be approved. Please be aware that it may take 24 to 48 hours for your account to be verified and activated. New users to an existing organization should be added to by the organization's grant administrator. To add a new user, the grant administrator will first log into the system. They will go to their name in the upper right-hand corner and select the profile option. Once you get to the profile page, you'll see a menu on the left-hand side of the screen. You should select organization members. Here, you'll see the members search box. In the upper right corner of the box, there's a plus sign. Click the plus sign to access the Add Person form. Here, you'll fill out the general information with the new user's name and title, and then their contact information. The third step in this process is to assign the role. You'll want to assign any staff that will be working on an expression of interest or full application as grantee staff. Any external users that will be assisting on your applications should be assigned with a consultant role. The grant administrator role is intended for the organization's chief executive or an authorized user who has the authority to submit an expression of interest or full application on behalf of the organization. Grantee staff and consultants will be able to work on the EOI and full application, but will not be able to create or submit either document. That privilege is reserved for the grant administrator. Finally, in the security information section, you'll enter the user's username and password. Please note that the password must contain 8 characters and contain at least 1 uppercase letter, 1 lowercase letter, and at least 1 number. After hitting save, the user is created and an email will be sent to the associated email address. They will then be able to log in and change their password. When you log in, When you log into your account, you'll be taken to your dashboard. Here you'll see two boxes on the screen. First, on the left side, you'll see My Tasks, which is where you'll find any expression of interest or full applications that you've already started working on or have submitted. On the right side, you'll see a box labeled New Documents. This is where you can create a new expression of interest as well as a new full application. I'll now hand it to Felipe to walk through the expression of interest.
Thanks, Pat, and hello, everyone. As Pat said, my name is Felipe Zamberlini, and I'm the Community Grants Coordinator at DHCD. I am also one of the members of the Expression of Interest Review team, and we'll be going over the EOI submission and feedback process. So let's get started. To start a new expression of interest, go to your New Document box on your dashboard and simply click on the Expression of Interest link. You'll see a pop-up message with agreement language. Once you hit agree, you will be then taken to the expression of interest form. The UI opens to the document landing page. Here, you will see a menu on the left-hand side of the screen where you can access the two sections of the UI, sections 1 and 2. So let's get started with section 1, which is the applicant information. The first question in the section asks for the primary location. This refers to the location of the project and is very important as it will drive the data that is then populated on the table below. After selecting your primary location, save your EOI. Once you click save, you will see the data populate as well as additional errors that will pop up. As you can see here, when you do save, this report appears with showing errors. Any of these required questions that have not yet been answered can be filled out later. Your form still saves, and like I mentioned, you can always come back here to complete this information. However, you won't be able to submit the EOI until all of these errors have been cleared. We do encourage you to save periodically as you complete the form to avoid any losing of any work that you may have already completed. You can also always click on the error itself, and it will take you exactly to where the error is located. So for now, section 1, please note that the expression of interest here is identical to the section 1 of the full application. Applicants that submit an expression of interest will see that section 1 of the full application already pre-populated with the information entered here. Now, after you've completed section 1, you can move on to section 2. You can either click section 2 priorities, projects, and initiatives on the left side menu, or at the bottom where you can go next form at the bottom of the screen. So now we're in section 2. Here you will answer the questions related to your project. The last question of the section will ask you if you would like to add a second project. If you do want to enter a second question, select yes, and an identical set of questions will appear for you to answer related to your second project. Now, once you complete these questions, you should hit save to make sure you do not have any errors. And remember, you can press save as often as you want and as often as you can. If there are no errors, you will see no error check marks. But if there are errors, you will see a small error check mark next to the section name on the left side of the menu. Once done, you will then scroll to the very bottom of the menu on the left side of the screen and hit Submit an Expression of Interest button. And that's it. You've sent us your expression of interest. After you submit your EOI, it will then go to the review team and a feedback report will be created. When the feedback is posted, you will receive an email notifying you to log back to IGX to view that feedback. In order to view the feedback, like I said, just log right back to IGX, find your expression of interest in the My Documents tab section of your dashboard. The EOI will now have the status feedback received added to it. And when you open your EOI, you will see a new option on the left menu called Feedback Report, all caps. This is where you will be able to download and view your feedback report. And that's it. You've submitted an EOI, you've received your feedback, and Pat, you can take it back.
Great, thank you very much. So now that we've gone through the expression of interest, we're going to create a full application. So just like the expression of interest, we are going to go to the new document section of the dashboard. And here this time we'll just click one-stop full application. We'll agree to the language and then go to the full application document landing page. Like the EOI, we're going to start by clicking on section 1 on the menu to the left. As Felipe noted, this section is identical to the EOI, and if you submit an EOI like we just did, all the information is pre-populated. I'd like to highlight question 1.2 in section 1, as this is where the applicant selects their organization type. Your organization type will dictate which sections of the application you are eligible to apply through. We're starting off as a municipality. So I'm going to save the document. And now we have access to section 2, project information. When we go to section 2, the first question will ask us to choose the development continuum category that we would like to apply for funding through. Here you can see that all 5 development continuum categories are available. And this is the case for all public entities. If we go back to section 1, and this time we'll say that we're applying as a nonprofit, we're going to change it, we'll save. It's going to ask me to answer an additional question that's required for non-public entities. So we'll answer that question, we'll save. And now we'll go back to section 2. Now you see that the options for question 2.1 have reduced to community capacity building, site preparation, and building. These are the 3 categories that are eligible for, that nonprofits are eligible to apply through. If we were to go back and change our organization type to for-profit, we'd see this list reduced to just the buildings category, as that's the only development continuum category with programs that offer funding to private for-profit entities. So for now, we're going to go back to section 1, and we are going to select municipality again. So this time when we go back to section 2, we're going to choose infrastructure as our option for 2.1. We'll click save. And here you'll see a long list of errors pop up because we haven't completed this section yet. That's okay. We can go on for now. We'll have to just go back and answer these questions before we submit the application. So now we're moving on to the infrastructure section. In the infrastructure section, communities with housing choice designation have an opportunity to answer additional questions to be considered for funding by the Housing Choice Community Grant Program. Because we're applying as a public organization in Provincetown, which is a housing choice community, we see a message here telling us that we are eligible for consideration by the Housing Choice Community Grant Program. We're also asked whether we've reviewed the guidelines for the program and whether our project budget is within the program's $250,000 award limit. If we answer yes to this question and save, we will see that a new section opens up on the left-hand menu. So now we have section 8, housing choice general questions. We must now complete this section in order to submit our application. Again, this is only available to public organizations that have housing choice designation. If our project is above the $250 limit, we'll simply answer no and save. And we will see that section 8 disappears as an option. All that means is that our project budget is too high for this specific program, and we'll continue filling out section 7 to be considered by the programs that can support the project. Communities with rural and small town designation will see a similar question specific to the Rural and Small Town Development Fund. These questions will appear for any rural and small town or any public organization with rural and small town designation applying through the planning and zoning, site preparation, buildings, and infrastructure sections. As a public entity in Provincetown, which also has rural and small town designation, we are eligible for consideration by the Rural and Small Town Development Fund. So here, just like Housing Choice, we'll be asked if we read the guidelines, and then we'll be asked if the proposed budget is within the program's funding limits of $400,000. If we were to answer yes, at the end of the section, would see 3 additional questions appear that are specific to the Rural and Small Town Development Fund. Just to demonstrate, if we say no, our project budget is above that 400,000, we won't have access to these questions. So throughout the application, you will be asked to upload attachments. So here you can do this by either dragging and dropping a file into this red box, or you can click the select button, which will pop up your Windows Explorer, and then you simply upload the document that you would like to attach. There is one specific attachment that I'd like to bring to your attention, and that is the RMAT tool. I'm going to hand it over to Nick now to show you how to access the RMAT tool.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicholas Bulens. I am the RMAT Climate Change Coordinator for HED. RMAT stands for the Resilient Massachusetts Action Team, which is an interagency body responsible for implementation of the state's hazard mitigation and climate adaptation plan. As Pat noted, any project submitted through the infrastructure category of the one-stop is required to attach a project report generated through the Commonwealth's RMAT tool. This is an online tool developed by the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. Its purpose is to facilitate resilience planning in state-supported capital projects. The tool guides you to input basic project information, and using that information, it generates a downloadable report with several data outputs. These outputs include an exposure rating for the project site, climate risk rating for the proposed public improvements, and design recommendations for enhancing a project's resilience. No prep work is needed to complete the tool. The entire process, exclusive of registration, should take no more than 15 minutes. The tool is located at resilientma.org, but you can find a direct link to the site in the one-stop application where the attachment is described, so you don't have to go searching for that. Once you arrive at the tool, you begin by clicking this blue Login Register button. If this is your first time using the tool, you should select Create an Account and complete the sign up form and click Sign Up. The tool will send you an email with an activation code. Once you have that code, you should return to this page, click Activate User. From there, you can enter the activation code and you can proceed with the login. Once inside this tool, you start by clicking the New Project, which is the button in green here. Alternatively, if you are returning to a project that you already started, then you would use the search bar and the search button to pull up that record and continue. But for the purposes of the webinar, we're going to do a new project here. So after clicking the New Project button, you continue by typing the project name and then clicking Save. So this will create the record. Next, use the map to draw the project area. Start by typing in a street address or street name in the map search bar over here. Once you see the project location, then you use the drawing tools to draw a polygon around the work area and then click the Save button. So I'm going to start that process here just so you can see what it looks like. So here's our little drawing tool with a polygon, and you can draw something simple, or as you'll see in a later screen, you can draw the limits of work and be a bit more precise. But then we would hit the Save button. For right now, I'm going to cancel. And I am actually going to go over to a screen where I have already created this project to make it easier. So here you can see my final polygon. This is an intersection improvement project based on Mass DOT work completed in 2012. So the polygon was drawn to match that limit of works, which is all you need to do for any project that you're inputting, just the limit of works. After the polygon is saved, the workflow for the tool becomes available. So you can see here, we created the polygon and now all the additional steps are available to us. So you can see the workflow at the top. And the project input section is where all the questions are. So the project inputs are organized into 4 steps. All questions are yes, no, or multiple choice. So there are no narratives that have to be provided. Here are a few tips for completing the inputs. So to answer any question, you have to click the little pencil icon. That activates the question, and you type or select the answer, and then click save. And there is a save button for every question. So questions should be answered using only the public information portion of your project, not any private development. In other words, the tool is about what you propose to build and what the impact of that infrastructure will be, not what a developer proposes to build alongside or after the project. So just keep that in mind. In step 4, users are asked to identify the assets that are in the project. Now, assets are the major pieces of public infrastructure that you propose to build. Most infrastructure category projects have 1 or 2 infrastructure assets. So basically horizontal type buildings, horizontal type projects, we'll say it like that. However, certain projects like sewer or water projects that have pump stations or treatment plants, those will have a building or facility asset on here. In this case, my example project is an infrastructure, a intersection project. So you can see here that my only asset is an intersection, which is located on a highway or a state road. If you ever have confusion about how to answer a question, what you're going to look for is a question mark icon or an info icon next to it. So this icon displays guidance information to help users select the appropriate answer. So on my screen, for example, under asset useful life, I click the icon and the tool displays a guidance table with typical useful life values to help me choose the appropriate answers. And you'll find these types of icons throughout the entire tool to help you. After all questions are answered, you're going to go through all the steps and you're going to get to this final page, which is the submit project. All you have to do at that point is click the submit button, confirm, and after several seconds, you'll get another link. It will say download report. At this time, all you have to do is click the link. The report will download as a PDF file, and that's the file that you're going to attach into the one-stop application. Again, all in all, this entire process, exclusive of the registration or the activation, should take no more than 15 minutes. If you encounter any technical difficulties, then you're going to want to send an email to rmat@mass.gov. This email is shown on the start page of every project here, but the email is also provided in the one-stop application where the attachment is described, and it's also located in the RMAT tool login page, first thing there. I should note that in April, the Commonwealth will roll out updates to this tool. At that time, a full demo video will be released and published on the tool's login page, which will be an additional resource for any one-stop applicant that would like more information. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Pat.
Great, thanks a lot, Nick. So while Nick was reviewing the RMAT tool, I went back and completed all the required questions in section 2 and section 7. So here you can see we have check boxes next to each of these sections indicating that they're complete and there's no errors in those sections. Before submitting, we need to complete section 9, which is the certification. This section does need to be completed by either the applicant organization's chief executive or an official that is authorized to submit on behalf of the organization. So here we'll complete this form. Now we'll save. So we got the check marks next to section 9, indicating that, that section 9 is good to go. You'll see section 10 here as well. This isn't a section that allows for the attachment of additional files. If there's any other attachments you'd like to include, it's completely optional and is not required for submitting. So now that we have all of our required sections complete, we'll scroll down to the bottom of the menu on the left side of the page, and we will click Submit Full Application. We'll click OK, and now our application is final. It's submitted, and it is ready to be reviewed for funding. After you submit the application, you can access the application on your dashboard. Again, you'll go to My Documents, and here you'll find the application we just submitted. You can click on it, and you, oh, I'm sorry, that's the expression of interest. You can also access your expression of interest. But here's the application that we just completed. You can view each section here. You won't be able to save at this point, but you can view your work. You can also download a PDF of your application by going to the menu on the left. Under the Tools section, you'll click Print Document. You'll need to select the sections you want to include in your PDF. It defaults to exclude, so make sure you do include sections. You can just click all here to PDF the whole application. Then you simply hit print and a PDF copy will download. So that concludes webinar 3. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this webinar. Please be sure to visit mass.gov/onestop for more information, including links to access the IGX platform, as we showed at the beginning of this video, as well as recordings of all 3 of our webinars. Any questions you have related to the OneStop or the IGX platform can be directed to onestop@mass.gov. Again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working with you.